If you don't watch this video to the end, you've just proven to yourself that you don't have what it takes to go pro. This is free advice that separates real competitors from pretenders, and it only takes a couple of minutes to get. But 99% of you will click off halfway through because you're not actually serious about your goals. The players who make it pro watch every second of content they can that will help them improve. The players who stay stuck make excuses and then click away when things get real. Which one are you? Now only the ambitious players that really want to go pro are still here. Good, because what I'm about to teach you isn't just about Fortnite. It's about becoming the type of person who refuses to quit when things get hard. Let me be brutally honest with you. 99% of you watching this are weak. You want results, but you don't want to do the work. You see someone hit a crazy clip and think you need to learn that, while your crosshair placement is still trash and your game sense is literally non-existent. This isn't just about Fortnite. This is about your character. This is about whether you're the type of person who builds a foundation or the type who builds a house on sand and wonders why it collapsed. The brutal truth about the basics. Here's what separates winners from losers. Winners understand that basics aren't boring, they're powerful. Every single player who's made it to the top spent thousands of hours perfecting the fundamentals, while the weak players were trying to skip ahead. You think crosshair placement is too simple. You think positioning is obvious. You think game sense is something you just naturally develop. That's exactly why you're stuck, and that's exactly why you'll never improve. The basics aren't beneath you. You're beneath the basics. And until you accept that, you'll keep spinning your wheels, wondering why everyone else is getting better while you stay at the same level. The skill hierarchy reality. There's a hierarchy to skill in Fortnite, and you can't skip levels. It's like trying to do really high level maths when you can't even do the basic maths. It's like trying to run a marathon when you can't even jog 1500 meters. Level 1 is crosshair placement and basic aim. Level 2 is positioning and rotation timing. Number 3 is game sense and reading opponents. And number 4 is advanced mechanics and creative techniques. Most of you are trying to jump straight to level 4, while your level 1 skills are just embarrassing. And when you fail, you just blame the game. You blame your teammates. You blame everything except your own laziness. The foundation problem. Every building needs a foundation. Every pro was built on fundamentals, but you don't want to dig deep and lay concrete. You want to start with the roof because it looks cooler. Your crosshair placement is sloppy. Your aim suffers. Your positioning is just random, so you die to third parties. And your game sense is so underdeveloped, you make terrible decisions that cost you your whole tournaments. But instead of fixing these, you're in creative, trying to learn piece control that you'll never actually use effectively unless you have these first foundational skills. This is what weak-minded people do. They chase shortcuts. They avoid the hard work. They want the glory and to look good without actually having to grind. The discipline test. Here's your first test of discipline. Can you spend an entire week focusing only on crosshair placement, not editing, not building, not trying to hit clips, just crosshair placement? Most of you just said no in your head. That's exactly why you'll never make it. You can't even commit to one fundamental skill for a week, but you think you have what it takes to go pro. Pros are made in the boring moments. Pros are made when nobody's watching. Pros are made by people who understand that discipline isn't a punishment, it's a privilege. The progress learning system. Real improvement happens in stages, and you can't skip these stages. First, you master basic aim and crosshair placement until it's automatic. Then you master positioning and rotation timing until it's instinctive. Then you master game sense and opponent reading until it's just natural. Each stage builds on the last. Each stage makes the next one possible, but weak players want to skip the foundation and wonder why their advanced techniques crumble under real pressure. The consistency challenge. Here's what separates the strong from the weak. Consistency. Anyone can hit a good shot once. Anyone can make a smart rotation occasionally, but can you do it every single game, every single fight, and every single moment? The basics aren't about doing something once perfectly. They're about doing something correctly every single time until it becomes who you are as a player, not just what you do. Your crosshair placement needs to be perfect in your first game and in your 100th game. Your position needs to be smart when you're winning and also when you're losing. Your game sense needs to work when you're confident and when you're tilted. The mental strength component. Mastering basics isn't just about skill, it's about mental strength. It's about being strong enough to do the boring work when everyone else is chasing flashy plays. It's about being disciplined enough to practice the fundamentals when you'd rather be having fun. Every time you choose to work on the basics, basics instead of advanced techniques, you're building mental muscle. Every time you focus on fundamentals instead of highlights, you're proving you're serious about improvement. Weak players avoid the basics because they're not exciting. Strong players embrace the basics because they understand that boring work creates extraordinary results. The patience factor. Basics take time to master, and most of you don't have patience. You want to see improvement in days, not months. You want to feel progress in hours, not weeks. But real skill development doesn't work on your timeline. It works on the timeline of mastery. And mastery depends on patience, which most people don't have. That's why most people don't go pro. This is where the weak quit and the strong separate themselves. When progress feels slow, when improvement feels invisible, when basics feel repetitive, that's when pros are made. The focus requirement. You can't master the basic techniques when the advanced techniques are distracting you. You can't build a foundation where you're thinking about the roof. You need laser focus on one fundamental at a time. Pick one basic skill: crosshair placement, positioning, game sense. Pick one, then spend every practice session, every game, every moment focusing on that one thing until it's perfect. Most of you won't do this because it requires focus you don't have. It requires discipline you haven't developed, and it requires strength you have not built. The commitment test. Here's your real test. Can you commit to mastering the basics even when it's boring? Even when your friends are hitting clips? Even when you're not getting views or recognition? Can you be strong enough to do the right thing instead of the easy thing? Can you be disciplined enough to build properly instead of building fast? This isn't just about Fortnite anymore. This is about what type of person you are. This is about whether you have the character to do what winners do, even when you don't feel like it. The action plan. Starting today, you're going to pick one of the fundamental skills and master it completely before moving to the next. No exceptions, no shortcuts, and no excuses. Week 1 and 2, perfect crosshair placement in every situation. Week 3 and 4, master basic positioning and rotation timing. Week 5 and 6, develop consistent game sense and opponent reading. Don't move to the next stage until the previous one is automatic. Don't chase advanced techniques until your basics are flawless. 99% of players will watch this video and do nothing. They'll go back to chasing flashy plays and wondering why they're not improving. They'll keep being weak, keep making excuses, and keep avoiding the hard work. Don't be like them. Be strong enough to do what others won't. Be disciplined enough to master what others skip. Be patient enough to build what others rush. If you're actually serious about going pro in Fortnite, comment "I will go pro" to remind yourself of your goals and also to show me who the actually ambitious are. And lastly, I want to say it's literally your fault you're not improving. And if you want to know why and how to fix it, watch the video on screen somewhere around here now. I don't really know where. To become unstoppable at improving and make going pro inevitable.